Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Root Chakra, your first energy center simplified and applied. Edited by Cyndi Dale with Gina Nicole, Anthony J.W. Benson, Dr. Nitin Bhatnagar, Joanne Brown, Amanda Huggins, Margaret Ann Lembo, Tia Tingy, Amelia Vogler, and Susan Weiss-Bolin. Narrated by Cindy K. Publisher's note. This audiobook includes bonus material. Please visit Tantor.com and type Root Chakra into the search box. Follow the link to the book's page. Then, under the supplemental content section, please enter the access code LIGHT. Then click the Unlock button to access the bonus material. The code should be entered in all lowercase letters. All figures referenced in this audiobook can be found in the bonus material. The information in this book is not intended to be used to diagnose or treat a medical, emotional, or behavioral condition. To address medical, behavioral, or therapeutic issues, please consult a licensed professional. The author and publisher are not responsible for any conditions that require a licensed professional, and we encourage you to consult a professional if you have any questions about the use or efficacy of the techniques or insights in this book. References in this book are given for informational purposes alone and do not constitute an endorsement. All case studies and descriptions of persons have been changed or altered to be unrecognizable. Any likeness to actual persons, living or dead, is strictly coincidental. Introduction. What do you get when you mix glowing health, a zest for a career calling, material wealth, happy housing, sexual zip, a supersized sense of security, and all the energy you need to thrive physically? You gain the benefits of a vigorous first chakra. I call the first chakra the Earth Star chakra because it grounds and empowers at the same time. Called Muladhara in Hindu tradition, the original source of most modern chakra knowledge, this is the subtle energy center that lies in your hip area, and it's the incredibly enriching subject of this book. For seekers of a great life, it's vital to understand and interact with all of your chakras, and you'll be learning how to do that one chakra at a time in Llewellyn's Chakra Essentials, my 8-book series. The first 7 of these books will each focus on a single chakra. Of course, it makes sense to begin at the beginning. That's why you'll be treated to all things first chakra in this initial book in the series. Also known as your primal, root, and base chakra, this red-based energy ball is the starting point for creating a good life on every level, especially materially. About that 8th book, more on that later. Your first chakra is literally the first step on a staircase that leads up from the base of your spine and toward enlightenment. Like all chakras, it is considered a spinning wheel of light, as described in ancient Hindu scriptures' beautiful Sanskrit language. However, the influence of chakra knowledge is worldwide, stretching way beyond the Indus plain. That's because nearly every culture has interacted with an equivalent of the chakras. It's also because chakras are made of energy, which may be defined as information that moves. There are 2 types of energy, and herein lies the crux of a chakra's power. Physical energy describes the concrete stuff of our natural world and bodies. Ideally, it's important to comprehend how physical energy works. It comprises your bodily organs, the air you breathe, the food you eat, and anything else that is solid. But more than 99.999% of any object, including your body, is made up of subtle energy. Subtle energy is harder to measure than physical energy, but it decides what will appear in 3-dimensional reality and what will not. Picture subtle energies as tiny little pinpricks and waves of light and sound. Together, they form the lattices or templates upon which physical elements organize. Do you know what coordinates the movement and management of your subtle energies? That's right, the brains of your subtle energy system, your chakras. For perspective, it's helpful to understand that chakras are one of 3 structures that compose a greater subtle energy system. Your physical body's anatomy is made of 3 basic structures: your organs, channels, and fields. Your subtle body's anatomy is 2. Besides the chakras, your energy anatomy also includes channels and fields. I will share a few words about these now because they'll show up later in this book. There are 2 types of subtle channels linked to the chakras: the meridians and the nadis. Meridians flow through the connective tissue and distribute subtle energy through the body. They're best known in Asian medical systems. The nadis also stream through the physical body, but are mainly equivalent to your nerves. They will be highlighted in this book because the most important nadis interface with your chakras. As well, every chakra creates its own field of energy. Altogether, these auric fields compose the greater auric field. Each emanation circles the body, interweaving among the others, to surround you in a protective field of light and sound. You'll learn a little about the first auric field in this book, since it's produced by the first chakra. Overall, there are 7 in-body chakras and 5 found outside the body. Like the other 6 in-body chakras, your first chakra anchors in the spine. As every chakra does, no matter its location, your root chakra regulates specific physical, psychological, and spiritual functions. As with all the chakras, your first chakra is a land unto itself. To truly plumb its depths, it's imperative to understand it in its totality. You might wonder why I work with a 12-chakra system. I developed this model decades ago based on chakras I saw as a child, followed by research. When I was young, I didn't know that the balls of light and sound I saw and heard emanating from and floating around people and animals were called chakras. Norwegian Lutherans like me didn't exactly use Sanskrit terms for such anomalies, but I knew they were important. They changed hue and tone with my loved ones' moods. These fascinating orbs were so instructive that I often gauged my own actions by what was happening with their coloration. If my mom gave off a lot of muddy red energy, I stayed out of her way. It meant that she was mad and might take it out on me. If my dad came home from work shining with sunny yellow light, I knew he'd played with me. If the yellow was muddy, I'd go to my room and do my own thing. Eventually, I pursued further knowledge about these energy centers and related concepts through a decades-long odyssey. I worked with healers and shamans in Belize, Peru, Morocco, Venezuela, Russia, Costa Rica, the British Isles, and other places where indigenous cultures were keeping alive knowledge about energy, healing, intuition, spirits, and energetic anatomies. I studied spiritual and scientific tracks and worked with my own clients and students. I also discovered that chakra systems around the world had various numbers of chakras and other subtle energy bodies numbering anywhere between 3 and dozens. Along the way, I discovered that there was nothing universal about a 7-chakra system. Why has the 7-chakra system become standard? It turns out that a particular spiritual author, Sir John Woodruff, wrote a book in the early 20th century indicating that the Hindus prescribed to a 7-chakra system. Well, he actually didn't say that. He proposed a 6-chakra system and added a spiritual one at the top of the head, and that was that. Westerners took to his model, even though he actually said there are many chakra systems throughout India that testify to anywhere from 3 to dozens of chakras. And so it goes. We don't always question our experts, do we? Since its inception, my 12-chakra system has become a favored template around the world. I believe you'll love learning all about the 5 out-of-body chakras in my 8th book in the series, as it will greatly enhance your understanding of yourself and your place in the universe. So, what's in this book? Your first passport to adventure? In part 1, I'll present the foundational details of your first chakra in 3 chapters, drawing from ancient and modern knowledge. In the first chapter, I'll cover the fundamentals of your base chakra. This chapter will include the overarching purpose, location, various names, color, and sound of the chakra. Also relayed will be the associated elements, breaths, lotus petals, god and goddess, and so much more, including an initial description of the interconnection between the famous Shakti Kundalini and her home, the first chakra. Kundalini is a special life energy that yogis have cultivated in East India and other cultures for thousands of years. By necessity, you must have at least a partial understanding of it to better your education about the first chakra. In Chapter 2, we'll discuss the physicality of your first chakra. This exploration will include a deep dive into the organs and physical systems regulated by the first chakra, as well as the material life issues that it manages. We'll round the corner and complete our Part 1 circuit in Chapter 3 with an exploration of the psychological and spiritual functions of your base chakra. The ultimate goal is to gain a better sense of how your first chakra aids you in developing the sense of identity you need to materially thrive. We'll also cover intuitive attributes of this energy center and finalize our initial discussion of the Kundalini. In Part 2, you'll be treated to the knowledge of additional energy experts who will serve as your go-to coaches for life improvement. I've mindfully selected each of these authors because they are among the best of the best in their fields, and their contributions add up to a chock-full book on the first chakra. You'll learn numerous methods for balancing and strengthening this chakra through yoga poses, spirit allies, shapes, colors, meditations, mantras, and so much more. Even first chakra fueling recipes. All in all, my goal is to present you with a book that you can resource over and over again. Who among us doesn't want to grasp our dreams as reflected in the stars and then plant them in the good earth? Keep listening and meet your first chakra and your earth star well-rooted self. Part 1. Establishing the foundation of your first chakra knowledge. Breathe into your lower hip area. Focus first on your coccyx, tailbone. Then notice the pulsing of electrical power that moves up and down your spine and throughout your body. Listener, meet your root chakra, the subtle energy center that regulates all levels of your physical and material well-being. This simultaneously earth-rich and star-flame chakra is your key to leading a fulfilling and secure life. It pulses with passion and purpose, and it can make sure your everyday life does too. In this part of the book, you're going to learn all the fundamentals required to fully embrace and really enjoy your first chakra. In the first chapter, I'll share information we've inherited from ancient Hindu culture, with a few modern twists thrown in. Then I'll hand out scuba equipment so we can deep dive into the physical aspects of this rich wellspring of life energy. And in the third chapter, we'll delve into the psychological and spiritual functions of this primal and vital chakra. Ultimately, you'll find yourself standing at the juncture of yesterday and today, ready to create your tomorrow. 1. Fundamentals. When it comes down to it, your first chakra's main job is to formulate rocket fuel for your body. Who doesn't need a zip to zigzag, pizzazz to progress, and Z's when it's siesta time? Little wonder I call it the Earth Star Chakra. It provides the passion you need to take off while keeping your feet on solid ground. You'll learn all the basics about this chakra in this chapter. First, I'll provide insights about the most central purpose of this chakra by sharing a client case. I'll give you a hint. Your root chakra makes life energy. I'll then present bite-sized summations of the other first chakra essentials. Information that has been assembled across time and rooted in the Hindu origins of chakra knowledge. Add up these puzzle pieces and you'll discover an amazing source of worldly power. The essence of your first chakra. I once worked with a woman who was completely exhausted. She could barely drag herself out of bed in the morning. Once on her feet, she suffered through the day, continually fatigued. Everyday tasks were gargantuan endeavors. She felt lucky if she could check a few priorities off her to-do list each day. The rest were added to her next day's undertakings. Can you imagine how long her list was after a few months of this? When someone is that weary, it's necessary to look for causes on every level, including medical causes. From an energy point of view, however, I knew we were looking at first chakra challenges because the first chakra is all about our physical existence. When something is wrong with the body, or any concrete life necessity, the subtle energetics of that problem involve the first chakra. I wasn't surprised when her physician discovered an adrenal disease. As you'll learn in the next chapter, the endocrine gland linked to the first chakra is the adrenals. Once my client received treatment for that disorder, she perked up dramatically. For our current purposes, this story illuminates your first chakra's essential nature. It produces material energy for your body. If this chakra is off, at some level, you'll experience a physical deficit. The symptoms might include a bodily disorder like the one my client exhibited. It's just as likely that you could be struck by a different basic life issue, such as one or many involving finances, shelter, nourishment, and more. Because the psyche is so integrated with the body, you might also face any number of emotional or mental challenges and even spiritual loss. Throughout the rest of Part 1, you'll learn about a variety of physical and psychological problems that a weak first chakra might cause, as well as the gains you will receive when you actively support this chakra, which invites a rooted, well-grounded life. The takeaway for now is this: everything most of us desire in order to thrive is dependent on having a healthy first chakra. Overarching purpose. Your first chakra rules your physical energy and drives self-preservation. When it's healthy, it assures safety, survival, and material thriving. It's all in the name. Terms for the first chakra. One of the ways to obtain a clear understanding about an important topic is to delve into the meanings of the names assigned to it. I'm going to examine a few of the names for the first chakra to help us do exactly this. The most traditional designations for all the chakras are derived from the Hindu religion, which originally employed the symbolic language of Sanskrit to depict important terms. The Sanskrit name for the first chakra is Muladhara. The word combines mul, or base, with adhara, or support. This nomenclature wonderfully describes the first chakra's main goal: to root and sustain us in daily life. There are many other names referencing the first chakra in ancient Hindu literature. Labels used in the later Upanishads, one of the primary sources of the Hindu teachings, include Brahma, the name of the universal god, and Mulakanda, which references a part of a root. Tantric texts often include the word Padma in relation to the first chakra, which is the designation for the lotus, one of the most common symbols of all chakras. All names for the first chakra recognize its primal nature as well as your own. Location of the first chakra. One of the reasons this chakra is called the root chakra is that it governs the entire lower hip area, front and back sides. Quite literally, this area roots your spine. It is also described as being anchored at the base of the spine and in the groin. Given this latter location, it is often considered the major sexual chakra. Like all 7 in-body chakras, your first chakra is linked to an area of the spine, specifically the sacrococcygeal nerve plexus. That area includes your coccyx and 3 of the vertebrae atop it. Some experts believe Muladhara lies between the anus and scrotum in men and near the back of the cervix in women. Others believe it can be found just below the khanda, an energetic organ located between the anus and the root of the reproductive organ. I'll explain the khanda in the next chapter. If you want an even more specific set of directions, you can open the ancient Hindu tract called the Shat Chakra Nirupana and follow its directions, which say that the first chakra is 2 finger widths above the anus, 2 finger widths below the genitals, and 4 fingers wide. You can see your first chakra on Figure 1, found in the accompanying bonus PDF, the 12 chakra system. Note that the 12th chakra is an energetic field that surrounds the body. Color of the first chakra. Every chakra manages a different set of frequencies, or bands of energy. These can be described by color and sound. I'll talk about the first chakra sound in the next section. Regarding color, the first chakra processes all the subtle energies in the red spectrum. You'll enjoy learning various ways to employ colors to clear and clean your first chakra in Chapter 12. Red is the perfect depiction of the first chakra. It is a primal pigment, the hue of blood. As such, it is energizing, passionate, and stimulating. It oxygenates, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and assures a healthy and hale lifestyle. It is the color of life. Red also represents the Hindu goddess Shakti. You'll learn a lot about Shakti throughout Part 1 because her power is intertwined with the first chakra's functions and authority. Shakti, also known as Parvati, Durga, and Kali, is one of the most important goddesses of the Hindu pantheon. When she is called Shakti Dakini, she is appearing as the ruler of the first chakra. Often, this is also the term assigned her as the consort of Lord Shiva, a supreme god we will also be interacting with in Part 1. Shakti exemplifies the primordial cosmic energy that moves through the universe. Her many personalities add up to the preeminent Earth Mother, the active dynamic that creates, maintains, and destroys the universe. Without Shakti, there would be no aliveness, no creation, no transformation. Within the body, Shakti is associated with the activation of the Kundalini, a primal life force that rises from the first chakra to stimulate the healing of our issues and activate enlightenment. The force of Kundalini is also called the red or serpent Kundalini. There is a secondary color associated with the first chakra: black. Black is considered a mystical color. Many practitioners across time have recommended healing stones for the first chakra that are black, brown, silver, or another earthen color. Hence, black can be seen to depict the grounding nature of the first chakra. No matter what, the first chakra's hues reinforce its attributes as the provider of stability, support, and roots into the earth. Sound of the first chakra. In modern times, the root chakra has become related to the C note on the musical scale. Throughout Hindu history, the sound associated with the first chakra has always been Lum. Lum is often associated with the Hindu god Indra, the king of the gods and defender of humankind against evil. It is also the tone of spiritual awakening. There are many terms used to label the tone held within each chakra. These tones are called bijas, seed sounds, as well as bija mantras, or master sounds. A mantra is a sound that encourages a meditative state. Sound carrier. A special being is considered the carrier of the first chakra sound, the Airavata, or elephant with 7 trunks. In Indian mythology, the elephant represents abundance and wisdom and embodies Brahma, the creator. It brings wealth to the owner, and the elephant's brain personifies a brilliant pearl of unbelievable value. This is the wisdom that allows us to reach higher consciousness. The 7 trunks of the elephant also symbolize the 7 basic materials of the body, as well as the 7 materials and precious gems in the earth. Finally, the elephant reflects 7 levels of consciousness: unconsciousness, subconsciousness, dream consciousness, waking consciousness, astral consciousness, supreme consciousness, and cosmic consciousness. Lotus petals and appearance. Lotus petals are a well-known depiction of the in-body chakras. Every chakra exhibits a specific number and color of petals. At one level, the petals depict the swirling motion of a chakra as it brings in and releases the subtle energies related to its band of frequencies. Chakras are also affected by the movements of the physical organs, fluids, and electromagnetic field, EMF, activity in their localized areas. If you were to freeze frame the spiraling energies of a chakra, you would perceive a vortex with several outstretching arms of EMF. Those arms would appear like lotus flower petals. Lotuses are highly valued in Indian society as a symbol of a spiritual life. They grow in muddy water, yet the flowers always stand clear of the water. The water is the Maya, or illusion of life, and the blossoms are our true selves. The first chakra's lotus is called Mula Kamla. It features 4 petals, each of which denote the 4 points of the compass, as well as the psychic functions of the mind, intellect, consciousness, and ego. The petals also epitomize the 4 developmental stages of planetary life: vegetation, such as single-cell organisms; egg-laying animals, including fish, reptiles, and birds; mammals, and humans. The petals are red, and each is imprinted with a letter of gold. These letters are Va, Sha, Sha, and Sa. Each represents a vibration of one of 4 nadis, which are the channels of energy that interconnect the chakras and mirror the nerves in the body. First chakra symbols. The yantras. A yantra is a geometric diagram. Yantras were used over 13,000 years ago in Indian religions to aid in meditation. Different yantras also embody various gods and goddesses, and when they are focused on, they invite power and healing from a deity. They can also exemplify certain tasks or vows. The yantra, or representative symbol, for the first chakra is a yellow square surrounded by 4 red petals and 8 spears. The latter represent the 8 directions. The square contains a downward-pointing triangle. Inside is the bija, or seed symbol. Above or near the seed symbol are the images of the child Brahma, who is colored red and has 4 faces and arms. In 3 hands, he carries a staff, a gourd, and a mala, similar to a rosary. With his empty hand, he makes a gesture to dispel fear. With him is Shakti Dakini, the Shakti who is the Dakini, or ruler of the first chakra. She is red and has 4 arms that hold a spear, a skull staff, a sword, and a drinking cup. A white elephant is located under the lower point of the triangle. Also within the yantra is a representation of Kundalini, coiled 3.5 times around the Shiva lingam. Shiva is a male god who is considered the mate of Shakti. A lingam is a symbol or a mark. So the Shiva lingam is the mark of Shiva. The inverted triangle is called the Trikon. Also called Kama, it represents the dormant Kundalini, although it is considered fiery and filled with the energy of desire. It denotes the yoni, or female energy, and points downward to show that we are in the initial stages of our spiritual development. The sides of the triangle spread upward and outward to reflect the direction of a developing consciousness. The lingam inside symbolizes male energy and is an important Hindu symbol. Black, it represents the color of matter. The Shiva lingam references creativity and consciousness. In fact, the 3 rotations of the serpent relate to 3 levels of consciousness: unconscious, subconscious, and conscious. The half-turn refers to the awakened superconsciousness. The serpent head points downward to indicate that we can evolve, or devolve. The snake is also known as Kala, or the collective aspects of time, past, present, and future. Together, the yoni and lingam represent the opposites of the physical world. Gross element. In Hinduism, all matter is made up of 4 basic elements: earth, water, fire, and wind or air. Many systems also endorse a 5th element, space. The first chakra's element is earth. The earth, Prithvi element, contains the qualities of solidness and attractive forces. The latter means that the earth element can...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?